I did.
I just want to catch up with one person. And O'Connor was going to join. He tried to get in, but then it was too early. Hi, George. You going to jump on the meeting?
Okay, well,
Dave O'Brien, yeah, the 4:15 meeting for approval. Oh, sorry about that. Go ahead. Yeah, okay. You can call in. Yeah, you can call in. Okay. I'll send. Can you get the numbers if I send them to you? Or do you have those numbers? Well, okay. Okay. Okay, thanks. Bye. Do you have the, where the heck's your? Sorry, technical stuff is beyond my control right now. Oh, I don't want that one. I want this one. If George tells us he's in Vero Beach again, I'm going to shoot him. Okay, that's done. Thank you. I'd like to call the meeting to order. And would you please call roll call? Sorry for the delay.
Craig Leggett,
Here.
Michael Biddle,
Yes, ma'am.
Brian Campbell, Mike Grasso,
Present.
Jeannie Sullivan,
Here.
Mike Wild, Dan Bruno,
Here.
Bruce Ferguson, Nick Caimano,
Here.
Dave O'Brien.
Here. Okay, we have a quorum. First order of business is that you received the Fowler Square resolution to review. If I could ask Mr. Falvey to give us another update. I'm guaranteed this is the last one, Chris, but you know.
You want me to give you an update from the 3:30 meeting or just an overview?
We have other members here, so we need to refresh it.
Okay, so we are developing the corner of Bay and Blind Rock with 142 apartments and some commercial office space for lease. There will be 72 apartments in the building on the corner, which is a 3-story building. There'll be 36 apartments on the 3rd floor, 36 apartments on the 2nd floor. And on the 1st floor, we'll have our 7,800 square foot clubhouse. We'll have 2 rental spaces, approximately 5,000 square feet. We'll have some associated, building maintenance space and a 55-car indoor parking garage. The balance of the property will house the other 70 apartments, and those will be in 9 buildings, 8 units and 1 6-unit. And those will all be 2-story buildings with direct access garages for each.
Okay. This is a planned PUD. And Kara, would you please reiterate why this qualifies for consideration of a project for the IDA?
Sure. So a residential project can be
considered by the IDA. If the IDA finds that the project itself will encourage further economic development in the region, it'll prevent economic deterioration in the region. And some examples that we've discussed throughout the prior meetings and the public hearing are the residents in these housing will be living and working in the area. They'll certainly need services, and those items all lend to the promotion of economic development in the community.
Okay.
I do want to just mention one minor change to the, well, addition to the resolution. Under the seeker language, the Town of Queensbury Planning Board issued its neg deck, and affirmed it from a prior on October 27th, 2015. So we'll add that date to the final resolution.
Okay. In terms of assistance, we're looking at sales tax abatement, we're looking at mortgage tax abatement, and this is not under our normal pilot, but it is under the structure of 485B pilot, which we are authorized to do by the state legislative. We chose that because this is a little different project in terms of the PUD, where there are not a lot of jobs being created, and one of the focuses we have in looking at our manufacturing and other projects is that we really turned a number of jobs. So we are looking at that, and that's in consideration. So it is based on a 45B structure versus the other. So.
And one item that we should note is that it's intended that this project will be undertaken in 3 phases. And so the pilot agreement will be drafted accordingly. So we'll work with the company.
Okay, I'll leave you on the phone here, you can listen.
We'll work with the company to obtain specific descriptions of those 3 phases, so that, and we'll work with the assessor as well, so that the pilot will start for phase 1, and then when phase 2 is completed, the pilot will start again on that portion, and then likewise for phase 3. So it's going to have to be some wordsmithing, I suppose, but hopefully we can.
Kara, that's correct. That is our understanding also, and I have actually done only recently a multi-phase project in another jurisdiction. It was my first, so I did cut my teeth on that. So I look forward to working with Kara on accomplishing that, and I think we'll have no problem on doing that.
Yeah. I see there's a number of 3611414 joined us. Would you identify yourself, please?
Yes, this is George. I'm sorry, I didn't realize we had another meeting. I'm sorry, I've been traveling.
We got you. Thanks. Okay, so any other questions or comments?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, Greg.
Thank you. So for example, like I'm looking at page 5 of the resolution where you have year 1 base value, 50% of increased assessed valuation. So at some point we maintain that 738,000 base valuation, but when phase 1 is done, will there be a new base valuation? Is that how it's to be structured, or how does that work with these multi-phases?
I would say that it may, depending on the timing, I don't think we're talking, the completion date is anticipated to be the full anticipation of all, I mean, the full completion of all phases is July of 2023. So I think we'll have 1 year that would be in limbo in that case.
Okay.
And so we can, typically it would go off the pilot structure and you would then be at 100% tax based on whatever that new assessment is. But it may be, depending on that structure, that there isn't even an opportunity to do the full reassessment.
Okay. Good luck with that. Thanks.
Okay. Other questions or comments? I know this is a project that Queensberry has wanted done for a number of years. It's finally getting to the point where the structure that's what excites Chris and the Falvey Group. Unfortunately, that from when I first started planning, I think that you quoted me that lumber costs went up 89%, and you can fill out the rest of it, Chris. There has been an impact financially by COVID.
You want those statistics, Dave?
Sure.
Just let me go through my file here. Yeah, lumber was the big one at 89%. And so lumber, the example they used was in April, they measure it in Random Lengths framing lumber composite. April 10th, it was $348. Mid-September, it was $955. And currently, and this was December 14th, it was $659. But vinyl thing, they're looking to 8%. Five cement siding, which is what we're going to be using, 7% increase. Insulation, 6 to 8% increase. Drywall could be as much as a 20% increase. If I read any more, I'll just get depressed. Nothing's going down, everything's going up.
Okay.
Can we assume, though, that you can still financially afford to do the project with our help?
Yes.
Chairman,
Okay. Someone have another question?
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, Christian.
Yes. Thank you, brother. My statement, it's not a question, it's a statement. Just to reaffirm with the board and anyone else that might be listening, the city of Glens Falls and the area around Queensberry has a waiting list for these type of homes. And I don't see it going away anytime soon, the need for these, as people are downsizing and they like to stay in this area, which we want them to stay in this area. This is a great project to help address that shortage of this segment of the housing population. So I just wanted to add that in there.
We also have to recognize that they have to keep it affordable, and if the costs skyrocket, then it won't be affordable to some of these residents you're talking about. But the other benefit is that some of the people move out of some of the lower income housing, there will be room for them to move into those. So this is a good project to move forward. And I know that in previous discussions, Chris, I don't want to put words in your mouth, and said they still want to build a quality product and they don't want to cut back on the quality to deliver, because that's where they live, is delivering a quality product for people.
Mr. Chairman?
That's correct, Dave. Thank you.
Yes.
I'd also like to state, I don't have any further questions because I feel that a lot of due diligence has been done here. And I feel that the folks that have presented have a great track history and a great track record and a history of building good projects. And they also don't walk away after the project is done. So I just thank you for that. Thank you for letting me comment.
Any other comments? If not, I'll entertain someone to enter the resolution.
So moved.
Second.
Nick,
I'm back on the air. Second.
who made the motion?
Mike.
Nick made the second. Okay, good. Any other comments or discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Yes, I did have a comment, but we can go with a vote. I vote in affirmative.
You can comment now, Craig.
My Google Docs just crashed, so I don't see the resolution before me. Can there be something in the finding of fact and the determination about the current economic climate as far as giving us reason to go forward with this pilot for a housing project?
Correct terminology is PUD.
Thank you.
Okay. And would you like to make that as an amendment to the motion?
Yeah. Yes, I would. Thank you.
Do I have a second on that, please?
I'll second it.
Dan Bruno seconded it. Okay, now we need a roll call. Actually, let's just do a voice vote on the amendment, and then we can go back to the roll call on the original motion.
Aye.
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 Aye for me also.
Any opposed? Now for the roll call on the original motion.
Okay. Craig Leggett,
Yes.
Michael Biddle,
Yes, ma'am.
Mike Grasso,
Yes.
Jenny Sullivan,
Abstain.
Dan Bruno,
Yes.
Nick Caimano,
Yes.
Dave O'Brien.
Yes. It's carried. Congratulations, Chris. We'll be
Thank you,
talking to you in
Dave.
June.
Thank you, everybody.
Have a good evening. Thanks for attending.
Thank you very much.
Thanks so
We
much.
very much appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Moving on to votes by George. Votes by George. George, you want to just give a quick overview? I think everyone's
Okay.
before, but
Basically, our Queensberry location has become too small for the volume of business. And so therefore, I've had my eyes on this building that's been hanging around in Lake George with nothing going on for 3 or 4 years, the Lake George Forum. And that building will cover my needs for the next, as long as I'm going to be around. And it's going to allow Boats by George to grow, to handle more product lines, to become more a destination dealership, and create more business. We're going to hire more people, and we're going to grow like we have in our past dealings. And we're really anxious to get started.
good, good. Any questions for George?
Is there a number on the more employees?
Around 8 in 2 years.
Okay, thank you.
I think that the one item here is that we normally do not do retail, but I'll let Kara explain why this exception take place and allows us to award benefits to them.
So in order to undertake a retail project, the IGA has to find that the project falls in one of 3 criteria. In this case, we are viewing this project as a tourism destination, in that it'll attract a large number of visitors from outside the economic development region. That region is defined by New York State, and most recently, we've come to recognize this as the COVID Capital District region. So it's those counties that are within the Capital District region. Based on information that George has provided on his sales, his anticipated ability to conduct showcases and things of that nature at the facility. He's presented us with information that there are a significant number of people that travel to the location, and he anticipates that they will continue to travel to this particular location outside of the area. So we have, I'm gonna request that you consider an amendment to section, I think it's 9, the retail section. I don't have it right in front of me. But to add a sentence that reads, it is anticipated that a considerable number of persons will visit the facility from outside of the economic development region to engage in purchasing and to attend boat shows and the like, when able to do so, with the caveat that we understand we're not going to be having a boat show in the immediate future here. So that's what I would like to request as an amendment to that resolution. I guess I don't request it, but I'm requesting you consider it.
Okay. Nick?
I'll add again, I said it before, I'll say it again, and it adds to what Kara just said. This helps our year-round business, because all of a sudden this can be now inside, it can be a year-round boat show. And I think that's something that should be advertised and something that should be talked about.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't agree more with that. That's a great way of putting it, and I think those words are my words that you just came up with. But and I plan on promoting it that way.
They were your words. I was just I was raising them up to a higher level.
Thank you for raising that flag. I appreciate it.
Oh, that's Brian. Okay, good. So Brian, we've already passed Fowler Square and we're on George, votes by George now. So we're at the point so we need to introduce a resolution. I'm just trying to get my sequence in order. We need to make the amendment that you suggested, correct? And then, okay, I got it now, I think. So you have any other questions or comments that people have?
Can you give me the amendment, Dave, just so I know?
Yeah, we're adding a sentence based on information that the applicant has provided to us to section 9 regarding the retail exception as a tourism destination. So we're adding language that says that is anticipated that a considerable number of persons will visit the facility from outside the economic development region to engage in purchasing and to attend boat shows. And then we can add that this would be a year-round facility as well.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
So would someone like to introduce the resolution?
I'll do that. I'll introduce it.
That was
Mike.
Mike Grasso. Do I have a second?
Michael Biddle.
Michael Biddle. Any comment or discussion? I need a motion to add the amendment to the original resolution.
You just got it, didn't you?
You just got it.
No, we did the motion. Now we need to do we did the resolution. Now we need to do the amendment to the resolution.
That's backwards.
We can do it.
Yeah, you got that right, Nick, but I'll make the motion if it's what you need.
Need motion for the amendment, correct. Okay. Do I have a second on the motion for the amendment?
Yes.
Yes.
Craig, any further discussion on the amendment? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? No one opposed? Moving forward to the motion the resolution as amended. Any comments? I'll ask for a motion on the resolution.
Okay, I'll do it.
Nick, do I have a second?
Second.
Dan Bruno. A roll call, please.
Craig Leggett,
Yes.
Michael Biddle,
Yes, ma'am.
Brian Campbell,
Yes.
Mike Grasso,
Yes.
Judy Sullivan,
Yes.
Dan Bruno,
Yes.
Nick Caimano,
Yes.
Dave O'Brien.
I'm confused. Yes. Okay.
Yes, Mary Kay.
George, thank you very much. We'll be in contact.
Thank you all very much.
And I'm glad you didn't say anything about Vero Beach this time. Okay. Moving on to the next order of business, we have the Nolan contract ready, and it's been sent with the final modifications for their signature. We also have in the works another company interested in a lot, and well, actually two other companies still in the progress. I will not mention the names while they're still making a decision about moving there. Delineation, we're still waiting for Tom Jarrett to set up a meeting. There are some things we can do, but we're getting in the new year. We'll have more time to do that. You all remember that we did the RFP for the feasibility study for the dewatering facility. We are looking at doing a marketing infrastructure study and what has to be done there and the best uses and the marketing for that area. We received four responses. We interviewed two of those responses. One was for Weston and Sampson, and the other one was for Chazen. We spent an hour talking to them, a group of people, including Beth Gillis and Laura Oswald, as well as Craig was there, going through that, and the conclusion that we came up with was both could do a great job. I think that the feeling of the members on that group was that we thought that Weston and Sampson would bring a different approach to it. We thought that since it's been so many years that property's been on the market and no real viable suspects coming through, is that we'd like to open up to an outside firm to bring different blood into there. And we thought they were well prepared, and they have their good experts and subcontractors in place, and we interviewed some of those. They really did a nice job of putting people together in a presentation. So with that, I'd like to consider awarding this feasibility study. We're looking for that to start within the next 2 or 3 weeks, to be completed by September, and to see what the use of infrastructure was, both in the roads, in the sewer, in water and electricity, to see what we need to do to make it good. They have some contacts with other people and other corporations that they've discussed for site selectors and for infrastructure and for marketing. And I think they would be a good fit. Coincidentally, they were the lowest bidder at $159,000. The next one up was $175,000. The $159,000, as I look at it, was inclusive of all expenses, including mileage and travel, whereas the other one also had additional costs for mileage and potentially other expenses they incur down the road. So I hope to meet with we have a dewatering facility committee meeting tomorrow. I want to review it again with them and look at it, but I would like permission that if we come to the right terms with Weston, is that the board approve us moving forward with that. I remember that we have $190,000 in grant money that's going to cover this. There may be $2,000 or $3,000 administrative costs to the IDA, because Ally's time we can't recoup from either grant, but it's still a pretty good deal for what we're going to get out of it in a direction forward. I hope that tomorrow someone comes and makes a full price offer on the whole site. Be nothing, but we have gone through a lot of property, a lot of people looking at the site, and it's just not clicking. So we think professional marketing assistance from outside the area may help. And I'm talking about outside the area. They're located in, this office is located in Albany, but they have like some 500 employees spread across the country. I open up for questions.
I had one question. I looked at the two proposals. I noticed that the Chazen proposal had item number 3, market analysis, some $25,000 in there. And then on a conceptual development plan, they also had the Realtor CBRE, who I know and are very good. I don't know who this ESI is for 20 grand, but it just occurred to me, were they offering something in addition that the other proposal didn't have? Was there any real estate component? Because obviously, if we're developing land to be sold or to be developed, you need realtors involved. Is that something they had that the other people didn't have, or is it just not shown in their cost breakdown?
I think that ESI is the one you're talking about. They
Well,
are the marketing, pardon?
ESI is in with Chazen. They're in the break.
RBK was
ESI.
in Weston.
I didn't see anything in West.
Weston RBK.
RPK, yes, RPK is the marketing and data collection arm, and they're going to come up with recommendations. There is no reason why that we couldn't associate with CBRE, because we will have to find a professional real estate broker to manage the sales and marketing of this on an ongoing basis. So that was a comment made, but there's no reason why they couldn't, because we couldn't hire them to be a marketing specialist.
I'm just wondering, is that going to increase the cost of the Weston by bringing in real estate people? You
No.
understand the difference?
No, because real estate people will work on commission.
I understand, but the Chazen proposal shows almost $30,000 for basically real estate input as to best use and possible sales pricing and whatever.
But that was the ESI.
Yes, but that's in the Chazen proposal.
ESI.
It's not in the Weston Sampson proposal.
That was RPK. What was RPK? That was RPK that was doing the marketing analysis.
And is there a number broken down in that 156, or is it just like Ragu? Is it in there?
They just put it in there as lump sum.
Okay.
Let's see. Yeah, to maybe help Mike on this, both those companies were putting together a team to do things, and the Chazen had brought in the commercial real estate agent to help them with the market analysis part of it. And Weston also had a consultant to do that as well. So both contained professionals to look into the market and feasibility of that site.
Okay.
And I think in our discussions that the commercial real estate broker could be somebody we look into later when we come to actually work on this site.
Well, I was just concerned that it seemed like their proposal put $30,000 in that may not have been in the Weston proposal, but I'm assuming RKG Services is equating to ESI. Is that? Am I on the?
That's our understanding. Yes.
Okay. All right. I'm just trying to make sure the proposals that are like kind and quality. You follow where I'm coming from?
Yeah. We certainly will have a lot of discussions with them before we sign up and go forward with them. And those are some of the questions we really need to ask. You know.
No, otherwise it seems fine. I mean, it looks like they've really looked closely at this, so.
They actually came up and did a walkthrough of the site with me one day. We spent almost 2 hours going through it, and they were pretty excited about what they saw. They said the perspective change what they did. They actually went back and changed their teams a little bit to modify it. So I was just looking for the cost proposal. I know it's here. Unfortunately, I left my hard copy.
It's on the third
Yeah,
the third attachment.
yeah, part 3.
Yeah,
there's Part 3, okay.
it's page 26 of 28 on the computer.
Finally made it.
There you go.
If I remember correctly, it was in the task 2 data analysis. Was where they put our RPK,
RKG.
RKG. So, like I
Okay.
said, we'll have more discussions. That'll make sure that people from the working group are there too. Other questions or comments?
Are we looking to do a resolution to hire these guys at this time?
Resolution, yes, pending successful negotiation of a contract.
So move.
Moved by Craig, do I have a second?
Weston Sampson.
Weston Sampson.
Yep,
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
By Mike. I do want to let you know that Laura Oswald cornered me yesterday and says, I want you to remember that you're going to have a lot of work to do on this, and I'm going to need cooperation from the board members to help get through this. There's some stuff I can handle, but there's technical stuff I don't know. And you can tell me about water and sewer, and I know what goes in and what comes out, but you know, I think there's going to be a cohesive effort with the board to move forward on this. And we're going to have to draw on people. I just want to let people know that I'll be reaching out for as much assistance as I get during this project. And I don't know if anyone else has who's had a project like this and how much work is involved, but Laura wanted to make sure that told people that there's a lot of work to this.
I nominate Dan Bruno. He's an engineer.
I nominate Mike Grasso too.
I know I could count on you, Mike. Thanks.
Don't yell away, Dan.
So I'll ask for roll call on this, please.
Craig Leggett,
Yes.
Michael Bill, Brian Campbell,
Yes.
Mike Grasso.
Yeah.
Jenny Sullivan,
Yes.
Dan Bruno,
Yes.
Nick Carmano,
Yes.
Dave O'Brien.
Yes. Okay. Carried, we'll keep in touch as we go along. Any other questions on that? Year-end financials, while these aren't adjusted, Ally did the year-end analysis of the profit and loss and budget versus actual. We did come out with a profit this year. Wasn't very much. I think it was like $14,000, $15,000, $16,000 for net income. It was really a scramble through the year. We had some other expenses that we didn't expect, and we lost a lot of projects during the year. So I think this is a good thing that we ended up where we are. We also have 1, 2, 3, 4, potentially 5 or 6 projects starting this year. So we're starting off, and we should cover in the first couple months our entire expenses for the year. So that's a positive. And anything we get after that, and I think that soon we really have to have a serious discussion about using what we have to move forward, and perhaps hiring an executive director to go out and market this stuff and get us on the board, because I think over the past few years, we have sort of not been aggressive enough in getting our name out there and our services out there. and I think we need to. And all the activity you've had is coming from either people heard something about something going on and talking to people and say, hey, we're here if you want to talk to us. And some came talk to us, some didn't, but I think there's some great projects that we're putting in place and great things for the community. I know we have a company in White Creek that is looking to expand their operation. Maybe it's in Cambridge. Looking to expand their operation. They're in the process of filling out an application, and they're doing a expansion in a warehouse and putting some new equipment in and some other things in. So that's a positive. So that'll be a long-term project, probably 2 to 3 years to get done. So that's a positive. So I feel halfway decent where we are. We would have been a lot happier had the other projects come through and got WO Plastics at the dewatering facility, but God had different plans for us. So any questions on the financials?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman. For giving a consideration of what year it was, and thank you, Ally, for getting these numbers to us so quickly at the end of the year as well, to come out with a net income of $2,000 with all the ups and downs. I think we did well.
16,000.
I'm looking at WWIDA profit loss budget versus actual, page 2, net income 2,130 of over budget. You know,
Over budget. Okay, good.
Going with better than budget. How did we do compared to budget?
We did better than budget. That's better.
That's right.
Thank you. But I think it was a challenging year, but I think we've learned a lot and we can move forward. But as I said, it's going to take a lot of work to get to where we need to be and moving forward. And I will appreciate all your consideration and assistance in this. Any other comments on the financials? Thank you very much. CDC, we have no income CDC. Basically, as people know, CDC is strictly for nonprofits. We've had no activity in nonprofits. Most of what's done in the CDC is bonding for nonprofits. With the interest rates, people aren't really going to the cost of bonds, so hopefully that'll pick up. There was one that contacted me that really wants to go through the bonding, but haven't gone any farther yet. So we'll see. Ally.
So the last meeting and this meeting, when I sent out the Zoom information, I also sent out your board evaluation surveys. And in between both meetings, I sent out just that, so it wouldn't get mixed in with any of your other meeting attachments. So far, I've only received 3 of them. So if you could take a few minutes, send them out, fill them out, and either drop them off at the office, mail them, email them, just let me have them. Thank you.
And their training?
Training, yes, Craig, I did receive your email. I apologize. The member training grid that you all keep seeing every time I email you was not updated. Mr. Leggett did complete his ABO webinar in the beginning of December, and thank you for that.
Okay. I also forgot to mention at the industrial park, I sent out a map of the available properties. If you look at some of those, there are some wetlands in there, and we may have to restructure some of the lots for people to get away from the wetlands. I will tell you that unexpectedly, a potential has come up for the area past Equistock. They may want 10 or 15 acres, so they don't need any infrastructure built out to them. So we'll see what happens with them. The blessing have to come in place, but take a look at that. Any questions, we can answer that. Any questions on that? Any questions on the map you got?
Yes, we had talked briefly about possibly talking to Tom Jarrett about the water that was backed up and dammed because of the anticipated expansion of the Warren County Airport.
Correct.
And since that's not going to be done, my question was, can those culverts be reopened or whatever they are, and allow the water to naturally drain out so we could possibly retain land that might now be underwater, that shouldn't be underwater, that was done as a swap off in wetlands, and thereby, increase our usable space up there.
Mhm. It's a good point. And Deb, last we talked, Tom Jarrett was going to get hold of Deb Roberts for NCAS, who did the donation for us. Deb is very familiar with that property and the history, so if she can help us out, I got to check with them. I know it's been over Christmas time and everyone's been busy, but I'll check with Tom to see where he's at with that. But it's a very good point. We should be doing that.
As a follow-up, Dave, how about Phil that we talked about moving? Is that gone forward? Any more discussion on that?
We haven't gone forward. I need to get from Tom to see what the quality of that is also. I don't know if his partner went down and checked that, but I'll check on that. So. I will let you go ahead.
So looking at the map and along Ferguson Drive on the corner lot, it's sold. And then you have parcel C. In between, does that mean those lots are not available due to wetlands?
Yes.
Okay.
We could reconfigure that lot to include that piece of property that's not wetlands if someone needed it, but the parcel C is a fairly large parcel C that they've got outlined.
Yeah.
Would also have to be subdivided to get a working possible in there. So there's 1, 2, 3 that would need to be done. And then as we look at the rest of that property that's waterlogged or described as a wetland, we'll have to figure out what to do there.
Make lemonade.
Yeah. There are some lots in the back. There's 3 lots in the back that are good also, but into the road, you see where the end of the road is. So if someone took those and needed infrastructure, we'd have to run the infrastructure down or get that or use that as part of the negotiation. Say, hey, it's $25,000 an acre. But if you want to put the infrastructure down in, we'll negotiate the price down, because I don't think we want to spend a lot of money on extensions for people. And to extend some of that roadway, can't remember what Tom Jarrett told me, but that would probably encompass our $25,000 an acre.
Could you, if that's the case, why couldn't we, is it in stone that it's $25,000 an acre? I mean, can't we modify that to say it's 25,000 acre plus infrastructure improvements that are required for you to occupy?
We could, if we could align. The reason why we charge them $25,000 an acre is because they're shovel ready. Okay. And the pavement, the water and the sewer stop at end of road. So we could take the obvious saying and say, instead of $25,000 an acre, we may consider $15,000 an acre, $10,000 an acre, as long as you take care of all the infrastructure needs. But that's when we have someone that is really interested. We sit down and talk about it, but there's a couple ways to approach that. Okay. And the pavement, the water and the sewer stop at end of road. Could take the other saying and say, instead of $25,000 an acre, we may consider $15,000 an acre, $10,000 an acre, as long as you take care of all the infrastructure needs. That's when we have someone that is really interested. We sit down and talk about it, but there's a couple ways to approach that. Okay. Didn't I say that? And the pavement, the water and the sewer stop at end of road. Could take the other saying, instead of $25,000 an acre, we may consider $15,000 an acre, $10,000 an acre, as long as you take care of all the infrastructure needs. I know why it's rephrasing it. Someone's got YouTube on. Okay. Didn't I say that? And the pavement, okay, good.
I can't wait till we're all back in the same room again.
So, anyone else have anything for the good of the group? Yes, Brian.
Dave, so I see that Fort Edward has an opportunity for some grant funding for water infrastructure on the south end, which can't be far from where we're talking about wanting to run the sewer lines. Even if they would, I don't know if that grant funding is available for both or just for water, but even if it was available for both, if we could run lines at the same time, we might just want to be communicating with them if it happens to be in the same area, because I really don't know anything about that. I just saw it was in the paper. And we just might want to have the discussion with them and kind of work together so that we're not all paying for separate things.
So I did have a short discussion with the Mayor Traver, and there's potentially some sewer work that needs to be done on East Street. And Joe Billing was going to talk to them, so we could potentially package it together. And so the answer is yes, and a little long-winded say, yes, we could look at packaging that together. I think part of the study we're going to do is look into sewers. They'll have to package that and take a look at that and see how we can package it, because if we can go down East Street, it may be less expensive than going down the other way.
Okay.
So yes, I agree with you, Brian. Any other comments? Okay. Did I talk about elections? Elections for officers are coming up. We will have to have a nominating committee meeting, which is the executive committee, and we'll provide the names of people who are looking for it. We have to select the chair, vice chair, secretary, treasurer as elected officials. So if anyone wants to lobby the executive committee to take my place, I'd be more than glad to have them, or any other position. I will tell you that I enjoy this a lot, but I don't know how many more years I'm going to have in me to do this. Last year took a lot out of me. Again, I'm looking for help from everyone to get this done, because in the next year, there's going to be a lot taking place. So thank you. And I want to thank the entire board for their support, their efforts in the past year, and hope you have a more successful year next year. Thank you all.
Dave, I just want to say, I think you do a fantastic job, and I don't know if anybody here is crazy enough to offer to do what you do, the time you spend. But congratulations and thank you for a very successful year.
Thank you. All right, adjourned. Have a nice evening.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy New Year, everyone.